We are continuing to work, as you are aware. We have targets that we have to meet as a government that is outgoing. We have a target that we have to meet. One of them is to ensure that the 10,000 classrooms are built. As you are aware, there are always issues in the cities. Apart from Kisumu and Eldoret, which have done extremely well, Nairobi and Mombasa are perennial and chronic with this type of activities. Therefore, we are still pushing. I think this is the last building in Nairobi. I've been told so many stories, but the point is that it has to be completed within 2 weeks, as the contractor has said. Generally, we have done very well. Over 50% of the counties now have completed at 100%, which means we are continuing to deliver. Globally, we have about 4% to go, which means if we are to work seamlessly until Saturday this week, we should be able to deliver what is required. There are bottlenecks. My officers are moving around. I will work in Mombasa on Thursday to ensure that we mop up what is in Mombasa. Both Mombasa and Nairobi are more or less at the same level. You have seen my officers being very happy that Nairobi is at 86, and that's not good enough. On Saturday, we want to go to Bomet and mop up again Kericho. I will send officers to go to Tanzania and Elgeyo Marakwet again. And basically, by Monday, by the grace of God, we should be able to publish for the public to see how far we have gone. And I'm hoping that by that time, a large majority of counties will have completed at 100%. After the new president is sworn in on the 13th, it will now depend on how quickly he forms his cabinet. Before that cabinet is formed, if there is 1% left, you can be very sure that you sincerely will move around and complete it. That is what we were taught to do when we were at Starehe Boys Center, and I think it is never complete until it is all complete. I want to thank you for the support of the media. Unless you have something you want to ask pertaining to what... Yes. Many counties have, I can give you, if you know the counties that form the central region, they are all at 100%. If you know the counties that form the northeastern region, they are all at 100%. If you know the counties that form Nyanza region, they are all at 100%. In Kakamega, where I was, and where you have seen the social media battering me to hell, the simple fact that I was there and gave them 2 days ultimatum, they have now moved to 97.5%, and they'll be finishing by tomorrow. So, by and large, we have 47 countries, but we have over about 24 countries that have completed. A large number at 99%. And that's why we are going to continue to push them. I have no doubt in my mind that the Rift Valley, which is the largest, has a sizable number of counties that are completed. But we have a problem in Tanzania and another problem in Elgeyo Marakwet, which we are dealing with. I feel I have to go back to Bomet and Kericho. And tomorrow I will be, on Thursday I'll be in Kwale and Mombasa. In the coast, we already have 100% in Limu, in Tana River, and in Kilifi. In the Rift Valley, there's a large number, starting with West Pokot, Nandi, and many others, like Kipia. There are about, out of 13, we are talking about 6 counties that are already at 100. Nakuru, which is the largest, is at 96%, and I'm being told that within 2 days it will be at 100%. So I think, like I say, it is what you measure that you can do. And as a government, well, as a person, first of all, I have never failed. I'm not going to fail in this one. Sometimes the language is a little bit stern, but that is Magoha. And like I said, we want to leave a house that is clean for the incoming minister, so that he doesn't have to start wondering what is this and that and so on. With regards to payment, we are continuing to pay. The money is there, but there are processes. That payment may spill into the next government. But if the building has been done and opened, then the person who has built it should be paid, because in any case we are building them at 788,000 shillings. You had a bit of noise in Nakuru that they wanted to go to add the money to 1.1 million. It's all hogwash and politics. If they are at 96%, who is this that is saying they should take the money to 1.1 million? That will be for the next lot, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time. Certain son. Very politely and in the, who are you and from? Thank you. I am not seeing any hiccups. I'm not seeing any hiccups. I think the private schools that are racing to do the labs are doing so well. When there are hiccups, I said we are going to 10th, and I will still be in government on 10th. If there is need for us to extend, we will watch and we'll come back to you. But for now, we don't feel there is need. You know, again, Kenyans like coming in the very last minute. But we said there must be a conversation between the parent, the child, and the teacher. That conversation is so important. And I think as I leave government, the most important thing I've seen in the CBC, which is the takeaway, is that we are going back to make the family. The child is going to engage the parent once again, and this is actually the most transformative aspect of CBC. And this selection is the start of that process.
My name is Sharon Bahari from Team 47. Should the incoming government want to retain I really want to work as the professionals, and what are some of the achievements that you think you gained in the ministry?
That is a difficult and embarrassing question, because one, I am not looking for a job. That's one. You can take that to the bank. So nobody should mistake me that I'm completing this work in order to be seen that I want another job. But if in his wisdom the president-elect thought that I could even be half worthy to be considered, we would have a conversation with him. We would have a conversation with him, because I've now connected with the children, the poor children. And if we are thinking in the same direction and he gives me the support that I require, which would mean that I do things the way he wants and not any other person, then you may be, if it is God's will, I will say yes. But otherwise, it is not even in my mind. I believe so strongly the cross that I've had in my chest for 40 years protects me, and whatever God wants me to do, the time will come. And if it doesn't happen, so be it. It's not an issue. There are people, by the way, I would want to ask you, don't you know that there are so many people falling all over the place for those jobs right now? There are so many of them. I shall not be one of them. Are we together? This is the last one.
Given the ground cover,
Yeah.
What are some of the key issues that the incoming government to address that you think maybe we may leave unattended?
The new, the competency-based curriculum did not start with CS Magoha. I found the train already moving. So I took it over from there and moved it energetically together with all of you to where it is now. The most important thing that the government must remember is that CBC is not a money guzzler. That's one. It is not a money guzzler. You just must make sure that you get value for money. And it is not going to be easy for government officers to get value for money, because they have a culture of doing things in a particular manner. Are we together? And the best example are these classrooms, which we have done at 788,000. And I can tell you that people who completed them, some of them have bought cars, some are doing well in business. So if they get an officer who is going to make sure that there is zero tolerance to corruption within the ministry, that would be the biggest thing, because the money is actually there. It would then mean that they embark on another set of classrooms in the new year, because we still need another set of classrooms. If it can be done on or around this price, it will be extremely good, because that is the only bottleneck that I'm seeing. They will also have to invest in teachers, and you know, Dr. Ruto's government has already pronounced himself in public that he's going to employ 56,000 teachers in 2 years. So that will give us an automatic answer to the teacher requirement for CBC and others. I think basically everything else is in place. The books, the policies that were made even before I came there, like every child having a book, that is going to continue on a one-to-one basis. So I think, in my view, as I go, the elephant in the room is getting value for money. That is a disease, and it's not only in my ministry. It is everywhere. We have 544 billion shillings as a ministry. People see that money as being too much, and how much can you put in your pocket? But I've been with you in the slums. You know that money has owners. So as long as the money is put to the right use, the person will succeed. But then the bottleneck is that, from my experience, I've noticed that for a minister, and this is personal, my work is not in Jogo House. You know that. The work is outside there in the schools. So I hope that the person who is coming can, even if he doesn't run around like I do, like a headless chicken, he tries a little bit to go and check whether what he has been told is correct. And the example is like somewhere in Gishu, we were being told that a building was at a roofing level. So when I sent my CS, Dr. Sarah Ruto, there, she found that even the slab had not been poured. Now, if we had not been going around, perhaps by now we would have been at 100%, but the number of buildings built would just be about 10%. So that is the elephant in the room. And if the person who is coming is aware of that, there should be no problem. Everything else is possible. Managing the parents is a continuous process. It's a love-hate relationship. In terms of taking the children out of school, I think we should continue to encourage the parent-teachers associations as the safety valve to protect the poor children. Finally, the Limu scholarship, which in my view is one of President Kenyatta's very sterling achievement. The Limu scholarship now has 27,000 poor children that we took from slums across the country, Nyeri, Kiandutu, in Kiambu, everywhere. And these children have scholarships for 4 years, but the money comes yearly. That money is being managed by Equity Bank, so that the money goes to the right poor child we got from Kiandutu or elsewhere. We are not in a position yet to manage that money, because then we shall transfer it to our children and relatives. And those 27,000 children would be knocked out of schools like Alliance and what have you. So there's so much that I'm going to put in the form of a white paper for the incoming person. If he likes to move on from there, that's fine. But if he wants to